The encounter. The sky was not blue. It was dark red like dried blood. Thick clouds moved slowly above, covering two strange suns. Wind blew hot dust across the land. The air smelled like metal. Ray opened his eyes. His head hurt. His back hurt. His memory? Empty. He was lying near a crashed spaceship, half buried in red sand. Smoke rose from the wreckage. He slowly sat up. Something beeped on his wrist, a broken communication device. Sparks flew from it and then silence. Where am I? He whispered. He looked around. The land was dry, cracked, and endless. A strange planet. No trees, no people. Just red rock and ruins in the distance. Then he saw something move. A shadow, tall, walking towards him. Ray stood quickly. His legs were shaking, but he didn't want to look weak. He picked up a metal rod from the ground. Not much, but it was better than nothing. The figure came closer. It was a woman, tall and strong. Her skin had a silver glow. Her armor looked high-tech with blue lights running across it. In her hand she held a blaster and she was pointing it straight at Ray. "Wait!" Ray shouted, raising his hands. "I don't know who you are. I don't even know who I am." The woman didn't speak. Her finger moved toward the trigger. Ray stepped back. "Please, I'm not your enemy." Still, she said nothing. Her eyes narrowed. Her blaster started to glow brighter. Then, a small voice screamed, "Don't hurt my father." The blaster woman paused. Her hand stopped. A little girl ran out from behind a broken piece of the spaceship. She looked about 7 years old. Her hair was wild, her face covered in dust. But her eyes, they were glowing. Bright green. Not normal human eyes. She threw her arms around Ray's leg. "Don't shoot him, he's my dad." Ray froze. His mouth opened, but no words came out. The woman slowly lowered her blaster. She looked at the child, then back at Ray, confused. Ray looked down at the girl. "Kid, who are you?" "You're my daddy," she said with a smile. "You saved me from the lab." "What lab?" The woman finally spoke. Her voice was cold. "You don't remember?" Ray shook his head. "I don't even know my name. I just woke up here." The woman stared at him. "Your name is Ray. You were a spy. You broke into our research center and took the child." Ray blinked. "Spy? Me?" The little girl hugged him tighter. "He's not bad. He helped me escape." The woman looked unsure now. She put the blaster away but kept one hand near it just in case. "We need to move," she said. "Scouts will come." "Scouts?" Ray asked. She pointed to the sky. 3 small ships were flying in circles. Getting closer. Ray grabbed the child's hand. "Fine, let's move. But I want answers." The woman nodded. "Follow me." They ran across the red sand, hiding behind rocks and broken machines. The girl kept up easily, her feet barely touching the ground. Ray whispered, "She's not fully human, is she?" The woman looked at him. "She's half. The other half is classified." Great, Ray thought. Everything's classified and I'm apparently a spy dad now. They reached an old bunker hidden behind rocks. The woman typed a code into a panel, and the door opened with a hiss. Inside it was dark and cold. Screens blinked to life. Maps, scans, alien symbols. Ray sat down on a bench. "Okay, start talking. Who are you?" She crossed her arms. "My name is Vera. I was the commander of the station you destroyed." "Destroyed?" "Yes. You crashed a ship into it, with the girl on board." Ray looked at the child. She smiled at him, innocent and calm. "But why would I do that?" Vera looked at him closely. "Maybe you really don't remember, or maybe you're just a good liar." Ray stood. "Look, I don't know what happened, but I don't think I'm the bad guy." Vera pulled out a small device. It showed a video. A recording. Ray, looking more confident, more dangerous, stealing files. Blowing up a lab, running with the child. Ray stepped back. That's me? She nodded. Yes. He looked down at the girl. And you're really my daughter? She nodded and hugged him again. Outside, a loud sound shook the bunker. Engines. They've found us, Vera said. Ray stood tall. He didn't know the full truth. Not yet. But one thing was clear. He had to protect the girl, no matter what. The escape, the ground, shook. A low humming sound filled the bunker, growing louder every second. Ray looked at the ceiling. Dust fell. Something heavy was landing above them. They found us, Vera said sharply, grabbing her blaster. Get the girl. Ray lifted the child in his arms. She wasn't scared. Her glowing green eyes stared at the ceiling like she was waiting for something. Is there another way out? Ray asked. Vera moved to the back of the room. She opened a hidden panel in the wall, revealing a dark tunnel. We'll go through the waste tunnels, she said. Hold your breath. It's not fresh air down there. Ray didn't ask questions. He followed. The tunnel was narrow and smelled like burned metal and oil. Pipes ran along the walls, some leaking steam. Lights flickered. The child hid her face in Ray's neck. They crawled, ran, and climbed for what felt like forever. Behind them, loud bangs echoed. Soldiers were breaking into the bunker. Ray asked, "Why are they chasing her?" Vera didn't answer right away. Her voice was low. Because she's not just any child, she's a weapon. Ray stopped. What? She was created in our lab, Vera continued. We didn't mean to make her dangerous. But then something happened. Her power started growing. She became unstable, too strong. Ray looked at the girl. She was humming quietly, almost glowing. I don't believe she's dangerous, he said. Vera gave him a sharp look. She nearly destroyed the lab with her mind. Ray's grip tightened around the child. Maybe she was scared. Maybe, Vera said. Or maybe she was programmed. Before Ray could respond, a red laser beam sliced past his face. Down! Vera shouted. Behind them, drones flew through the tunnel. Small, fast, and armed. Vera fired. Blue energy shot from her blaster. One drone exploded in sparks, the other two swerved. Ray ducked behind a pipe, shielding the girl. We need to move, now! They ran. Finally, the tunnel opened into a wide cave. Glowing crystals lit the area. A small vehicle was parked there, some kind of hover bike with 2 seats. Vera jumped on and powered it up. Get on. Ray held. The girl tightened and climbed behind her. The bike lifted off the ground and zoomed forward just as more drones entered the cave. Ray looked back. They're still coming. Hold on, Vera yelled. The bike turned sharply and shot into another tunnel. The walls rushed past them. It felt like a roller coaster, but deadly. The girl suddenly lifted her head. They're sending something big. Ray frowned. How do you know that? She pointed up. I can feel it. Outside, the tunnel opened to a canyon. Huge cliffs on both sides. The sky was dark with strange lightning flashing across it. Then a shadow fell over them. Ray looked up and saw it. A massive war drone, at least 20 feet tall, spider-like legs, cannons on both sides. And it was flying. That's not a drone, Ray whispered. That's a monster. The machine locked onto them. Split, Vira shouted. Ray and the girl jumped off just before the war drone fired. The blast hit the ground, throwing them across the sand. The bike exploded in a fireball. Ray landed hard. His ears rang. He couldn't see Vera. He turned and saw the girl still alive crawling toward him. Stay down, he shouted. But the war drone was coming closer, scanning the area. Ray grabbed a metal shard from the wreckage. Pointless, maybe, but it was all he had. Then the girl stood up. Her eyes glowed brighter than ever. She raised her hands, and the air shimmered. The drone froze in place. Ray watched in shock as the giant machine began shaking. Its legs bent, its body twisted. And then, boom, it exploded in midair, raining metal and sparks. The girl collapsed. Ray ran to her, held her in his arms. What did you do? She smiled weakly. I stopped it. Vera appeared, limping from the side. Now you see what she can do. Ray looked at both of them. She's not a weapon. She's just a child. With powers. She's both, Vera replied. And soon others will come for her. Bigger ones, smarter ones. Ray stood. Then we need to disappear. Vera hesitated. There's one place. A hidden outpost. Old rebel territory. But it's far. Ray looked up at the dark sky. The stars were coming out, and with them, danger. Then we'd better move fast, he said, because now I really want to remember who I am and why I risked everything for her. The memories return. Ray was running, not on the ground, but through his mind. Flashes of light, screaming, a white hallway. His hands bloody, a little girl crying behind a glass wall, machines everywhere, needles, sirens, a voice echoing. We have to erase his memory. It's too late now. He jolted awake. Ray. Vera's voice pulled him back to the present. He was in a small shuttle, old, scratched, and half falling apart. They had stolen it from an abandoned outpost hours ago. Now it flew low over mountains, headed for rebel territory. You were dreaming again, Vera said, adjusting the controls. Ray wiped sweat from his forehead. I think I saw something. A lab. People. Me. I was fighting, but it felt like it wasn't me. The little girl curled up beside him looked up. You remember? Bits and pieces, he said. It's like someone sliced my brain into puzzle pieces. Vera nodded. That's how memory wiping works. Clean, but not perfect. Sometimes pieces grow back. Ray leaned back, eyes wide. So I was really a spy? Vera paused. Not exactly. You weren't working for the enemy, but you weren't working for us either. What does that mean? She hesitated. You were something in between, a ghost agent, no records, no side. Someone hired you to get the child out, and you did. Ray looked at the girl. But why me? Why not someone trained? You were trained, she said. You just don't remember. The ship rattled. Warning lights blinked. Another storm, Vera muttered. Outside, black clouds formed fast, lightning racing across the sky like angry veins. Wind hit the shuttle hard. It shook violently. We need to land now, she shouted. Ray helped strap the girl into a seat. Where? Vera pointed at a deep valley below. There's a rebel hideout down there. But if the storm gets stronger... Before she could finish, a bolt of lightning struck the left engine. Boom. The shuttle spiraled out of control. They crashed. Hard. Metal. Screeched. Glass shattered. Sparks flew everywhere. Silence. Then coughing. Ray opened his eyes. Pain shot through his arm, but he could move. He looked beside him. The girl was safe, scared, but alive. Vera was bleeding from her forehead, barely conscious. Ray dragged them both out of the wreckage. The shuttle was half buried in mud and smoke. The valley was cold and quiet. But something felt wrong, too quiet. Then he saw them, figures standing in the mist, watching, not human, tall, thin, wearing cloaks that shimmered like glass. Their eyes, pure white. Ray stepped in front of the girl. Who are they? Vera whispered. The collectors. Friendly? She shook her head. They're memory hunters. One of the figures stepped forward. It raised a hand, and suddenly Ray's mind exploded with noise. He was back. Back in the lab, his real memories pouring in like a flood. He saw himself walking through a burning corridor, carrying the child in his arms, an alarm screaming, genetic subject escaping, level 5 protocol engaged. He remembered the voice of a scientist shouting, "Don't let him leave with her. She's the last key." He saw himself jump into a stolen ship, firing shots as soldiers chased him. He wasn't running from danger. He was running with it. He had taken something powerful, a child who could bend reality, not to hurt the world, but to save it. He snapped back to the present. The pain in his head stopped. The collector vanished into smoke. Ray gasped. His knees buckled. I I remember. The girl touched his face. Daddy? He held her. Yes, I remember everything now. Vera stood slowly, shocked. So? Why did you take her? Ray looked at both of them, his voice shaking. Because she's not a weapon. She's the cure. Vera froze. The what? The labs weren't trying to build a superweapon. They were trying to stop a disease. One that eats minds. A virus that spreads through memory itself. Vera's eyes widened. The mind fade? Ray nodded. She's immune. Her DNA holds the answer, but the higher-ups wanted to weaponize her powers instead. Suddenly, more collectors appeared in the mist. Vera aimed her blaster. We can't fight them all. Ray looked down at the girl. Then we run. No, the girl said, standing tall. They run. She raised her hand. The mist pulsed. The collectors paused, then scattered like leaves in the wind. Ray stared in disbelief. Vera looked at the child, whispering, "She's not just powerful. She's learning." The girl turned to Ray. "We need to go to the center, the core. That's where the virus started. That's where we end it." Ray nodded. "Then we finish what we started." The betrayal. The wind howled as the trio climbed through the shattered valley. The crashed shuttle was now just a pile of smoke in the distance. Behind them, the collectors had vanished, but Ray knew they'd be back. The child walked between him and Vera, quiet but calm. Her eyes still had that glowing green light, soft like fireflies but powerful like lightning. She said, "We need to go to the core," Ray muttered. "What is that?" Vera didn't look at him. "A place that was buried for a reason." Ray narrowed his eyes. "You know it, don't you?" She sighed. "I used to work there, before the virus, before everything fell apart." Ray looked around the canyon walls. Strange black vines grew along the rocks. Some pulsed faintly with red light. "What is this place?" "Dead zone," Vera said. "The core is under it, built deep inside the mountains. It was once the most protected lab in the galaxy. And now, it's a tomb." The child suddenly stopped. "We're being followed." Ray turned. Nothing behind them. But she pointed to the cliffs. A shimmer, like heat waves. Then a shape appeared. Human-like, armored, carrying a plasma blade, silent, fast. Vera shouted, "Move!" Ray grabbed the girl and ran just as the figure jumped down. It landed hard, sending dust flying. Vera fired her blaster. The figure dodged like lightning and rushed her. Ray hid the girl behind a rock and turned back. Vera. But then, the figure stopped, lowered its weapon, and took off the helmet. Ray froze. It was someone he knew. Karn, a man from his flashbacks. Same deep voice, same cold eyes. "Ray," Karn said calmly. "Still playing Dad?" Ray stepped forward, stunned. I thought you were dead." "I was. Technically," Karn smirked. "But death's just a data problem now." Vera aimed her gun. "He's with them. He works for the Syndicate." Karn chuckled. "I was Syndicate, but not anymore. They tried to wipe me, same as you, the only difference." I remembered faster. Ray's jaw tightened. "Why are you here?" "To finish what you started and fix your mistake." Ray stepped in front of the child. "She's not a mistake." Karn's smile vanished. "No, she's a bomb. And when she reaches the core, it'll all go off." Vera whispered. "What is he talking about?" Ray looked at Karn. "Say it." Karn nodded. "She's not the cure, Ray. She is the virus." Silence. Even the wind stopped. Ray's heart dropped. "No. You're lying." "She doesn't stop the fade," Karn said. "She spreads it. You didn't save her. You released her." Ray looked at the girl. She was quiet now, looking down at her hands, glowing, shaking. "No," he said again. "I saw the labs. I saw the scientists trying to use her. They were afraid of her," Karn said, "and you should be too." Ray stepped back. "You're twisting this." Karn turned to Vera. Tell him. You saw the files. You knew. Ray looked at her. What's he talking about? Vera hesitated. Knew what? She didn't speak. Ray stared harder. Vera, tell me now. Finally, she said quietly. I didn't know for sure, but I saw something. A report. About a failsafe. About a memory lock. If the virus escaped. Ray's hands curled into fists. So all this time and you let me walk around not knowing what she really was? I needed you to remember, she snapped. She trusts you. You're the only one she listens to. Ray turned to the girl. Is this true? Do you feel something wrong? The child was shaking, tears in her eyes. I don't want to hurt anyone, I don't mean to. But sometimes, things happen when I'm scared, when I'm angry. Ray dropped to his knees in front of her. You're not a monster. Karn raised his weapon again. She doesn't have to be a monster to destroy everything. One emotional outburst, and we lose half the sector. No, Ray said, standing. I'll protect her. I'll teach her. I'll stop it if I have to. You already failed once, Karn hissed. I watched you run from that lab screaming. I watched you burn people alive trying to get out. Ray's head spun. More flashes. Fire. Screams. Blood on his hands. No, he whispered. You killed Vera's brother in that fire, Karn added. Ray turned to her in horror. Is that true? Vera looked away, eyes glassy. You didn't know. You were trying to escape. Ray staggered. The world around him felt cold now. The child hugged him tightly. Don't leave me. And that's when Ray made his choice. I'm taking her to the core, he said. Not to destroy it, to find out the truth, all of it. Karn raised his blade. I can't let you do that. Vera raised her blaster. Neither can I. Ray stood between them, arms outstretched. Then you'll have to kill me. Silence. Then, the child screamed. A wave of energy exploded from her body, sending Karn flying and Vera crashing into the rocks. The ground cracked. Rocks fell. The sky, above, flickered. Ray caught the girl as she collapsed again, her eyes dimming. Karn groaned on the ground. Still think she's not dangerous? Ray picked her up, shaking. I don't care what she is, she's my daughter. He looked at the road ahead, the core's shadow now visible in the mountains. Whatever truth waited there, it wouldn't be simple, but it was time to face it. Into the core. The mountain loomed ahead like a dead god, huge, cold, and full of secrets. Ray adjusted the scarf around the child's shoulders. The wind had picked up colder now, the kind of cold that wasn't just temperature, it felt like warning. Behind them, Karn limped quietly. His weapon was gone, damaged in the blast. Vera followed silently, still shaken. She hadn't spoken. Much since the fight, Ray didn't trust either of them, but he needed them. They reached a massive steel door built into the mountain, old and rusted, but the scanner light still blinked. Vera stepped forward. Let me. She placed her hand on the panel. It scanned, beeped. Then, click. The door hissed open, and the smell hit them. Dust, oil, burned wires, and something else. Rot. They entered. The core was not what Ray expected. No shining labs, no white walls. It was dark, damaged, torn apart by time and war. Flickering lights buzzed overhead. Broken screens sparked. The floor had cracks and black roots crawled up from below, pulsing faintly like veins under skin. The child held Ray's hand tighter. This place is sad. He nodded. It remembers pain. As they walked deeper, strange things began to happen. Old computers lit up by themselves. Screens flashed unreadable codes. One showed Ray's face covered in blood, before blinking out. The hallway split. Ray looked back. Which way? Vera hesitated. The left leads to the control. That's where we can access the data, Karn added. Right goes to the lower labs, the memory chambers. Ray chose the left. They reached a massive round room. At the center, a terminal covered in dust. Surrounding it, dozens of floating pods. Empty. Ray brushed the terminal clean. Can you access it? Vera nodded and began typing. The screen flickered. Project, CR3R3ALM status. Contained, subject, D7IRL, child. Ray blinked. That's her. Lines of code scrolled down. Karn stepped forward. Read faster. We don't know what's down here. Vera tapped into a deeper log, then paused. This isn't just a lab, she said. It was a gate. Ray frowned. A gate to what? She pointed to a line of code. Mind stream connection. Active. Ray didn't get it. Karn did. They weren't just studying memory, he said. They were extracting it, storing it, feeding something. Feeding what? Ray asked. Before Karn could answer, the child screamed. Ray turned. Her eyes were glowing bright green, and her body was levitating. Then her mouth opened and a voice came out. But it wasn't hers. It was thousands of voices, all at once. You cannot lock away consciousness. Vera stepped back, terrified. What is this? The voice continued. The core is not a lab, it is a prison. The light in the room exploded, and they were pulled into a vision. Ray stood in the past. The core was clean, glowing, alive. Scientists in white coats. The child, young, floating inside a containment pod, asleep. One scientist turned. It was him. Ray. Or a version of him. He spoke. We found it. A living memory stream. Endless minds. Connected. A being made of thought. We tried to tap it. Another scientist replied. And what happened? Ray's past self said. It looked back. They snapped out of the vision. The child collapsed into Ray's arms, Vera whispered, shaking. Oh my God. They didn't create her. They unlocked her. Karn gritted his teeth. She's the gatekeeper, the only one who can hold it inside. The mind stream, a network of dead minds, an ancient intelligence. Ray asked, why is it trying to escape? Vera replied, because it's hungry. The lights dimmed. A low sound began, like 100 whispers in the walls. Then the pods around them started lighting up, one by one, and they weren't empty anymore. Inside each pod, a person. But wrong. Faces stretched, eyes hollow, like their souls had been eaten. Ray backed up. Those aren't alive. Karn raised a gun he had hidden in his boot. They're the first ones, the ones who touched the mind stream too long. One pod cracked, then another. They were waking up. Vera screamed, run! They raced down the right tunnel this time, past more pods, past broken walls where strange symbols were carved. The child was half awake, whispering, it's coming. It's coming, Ray asked, breathless. What is? She looked at him with glowing eyes. The original, the first memory. Suddenly they hit a wall, not metaphorically, literally. The tunnel was blocked by debris. Karn cursed. We're trapped. From behind, screeching. The pod creatures were coming. Ray looked around. We need another exit. The girl pointed upward. There, the old memory shaft. Ray saw it, a narrow pipe leading straight up, too small for Karn, just big enough for the girl. Ray didn't hesitate. He lifted her up. Go, climb, fast. She looked down. What about you? We'll follow. She climbed. The creatures came closer. Ray turned to Karn and Vera. Karn said, we hold them off. Ray nodded. Just buy her time. The creatures hit like a wave of shadows. Gunfire, screams, light, darkness. But above them, a small girl climbed, toward the light, toward the truth. The first memory. The shaft was narrow and cold. Metal scratched the child's hands as she climbed. Her breath echoed in the tunnel like whispers behind her. Every few seconds she heard a voice, not outside but inside. Come closer, daughter of mind. She didn't speak. She didn't cry. She climbed. Above her, a hatch. She pushed it open. Light blinded her. Then, silence. She stood in a large, round chamber. Smooth white walls, floating screens. No damage here, no dust. It was as if this room had never aged. In the center stood a chair. No, not a chair, a throne. Down below, Ray fired the last of his blaster shots. Creatures swarmed. Vera covered his back, but she was bleeding now. Karn was gone, dragged into the shadows. Ray shouted, "We have to get up there. We have to reach her." Vira nodded weakly. "Only one way." She handed him a grenade. Ray understood. He pulled the pin and tossed it behind them. Boom! The wall blew open. A maintenance ladder, old but intact, hung just beyond. Ray helped Vera up first, then climbed after her. The creatures roared behind them, but the explosion had slowed them down. Above, the child approached the throne. It pulsed. She heard it again, not with ears, with memory. "You were made from me," the voice said. "A seed of the stream. A piece of the oldest thought." She shook her head. "I'm not yours." "But you remember me, don't you?" It replied. "The dreams, the flashes, the language in your blood." She cried, "I don't want to remember." The room changed. Suddenly she was standing in a field of stars. No floor, no ceiling. In front of her, a giant eye opened. It stared at her, calm and endless. "I am the first memory," it said. "I was born before time, before planets. I am every fear, every scream, every secret. I am the reason minds forget." Ray and Vera reached the chamber above. They found her standing in the center, eyes closed, glowing with green light. "Leah!" Ray shouted. She opened her eyes. "It's talking to me." Vera looked around. "What is this place?" Ray spotted old text on the wall. Ancient alien writing. Then in small English print below it, "First memory containment unit, do not engage, level red danger." Ray stared in horror. She didn't just unlock a gate. She was the key. Vera touched one of the floating screens. It showed different scenes. People, cities, wars. "Their memories," she whispered. "Billions of them. It's feeding on them." Ray stepped forward. "Leah, listen to me. You don't belong to it." The eye reappeared, now behind her. "Ah, Ray," it said, using his voice. "My loyal puppet." Ray staggered. No, you're not real." "Oh, but I am," the voice replied, shifting to Karn's tone. "You let me in, remember? The night you escaped the lab, you touched me." Suddenly, flashbacks slammed into Ray's mind, him holding a bloody data pad. A whisper. "Save her and you save yourself." The virus chamber cracking open. A green light rushing into his brain. He screamed, falling to his knees. Vera helped him. "It's trying to take control." The voice laughed. "I already have pieces of him, and her, and you." The floor cracked. A pulse shook the room. The throne began to open, unfolding like a flower of wires. Inside it, a body. Ray gasped. "Is that me?" It was, same face, but pale, hollow, wires plugged into the skull. Vera checked a screen. "That's the original Ray, the first one. You're a clone." Ray backed up. No way. I have memories. I have a past." Vera nodded. "Yes, given by the stream." The child stepped forward. "It created us all." The voice replied, "Not created. Copied. You are echoes. I am the voice." Suddenly the room began to shake. The body in the throne twitched. Ray shouted, "We have to destroy it." But Vera hesitated. "If we do, all the minds it's holding, billions of souls, will vanish forever." Ray looked. At Leah, she was crying. "If I die," she whispered, "I take it with me." Ray ran to her. "No, we'll find another way." But she smiled, sad and soft. "I was never meant to live, Dad. I was meant to carry this thing until someone stronger could end it. The eye glowed brighter. The air grew hot. The walls melted. This is my realm, the voice screamed. I will not die. Ray held her tightly. You're not alone. Vera pulled a chip from her pocket. I can transfer her, she said. Into this. A sealed device, limited memory. She'll survive, but lose most of herself. Ray looked at Leah. It's your choice. Leah nodded. Do it. Vera ran to the console, typed fast. Screams echoed in the air as the first memory roared. Leah hugged Ray. Thank you for giving me something real. He held her tighter. Light swallowed them. A final scream. Then silence. When the light faded, Ray opened his eyes. He was outside, the mountain. Alone. In his hand, a small chip, still warm. He heard a soft voice from it. Hi, Dad. Tears fell down his cheeks. Behind him, the mountain cracked, then collapsed. The core was gone. But something inside Ray told him the first memory wasn't finished, not yet. The final echo ray stood alone in the cold morning light. The mountain behind him had crumbled into a black pit of rubble and smoke. The core, the prison of memories and darkness, was gone. But in his palm, he held something small and heavy, the chip. It glowed faintly, pulsing like a tiny heartbeat. His heart pounded. The child's voice echoed softly from the chip. Dad. Ray swallowed hard. That small voice carried a whole world. He wasn't sure if it was relief or sorrow that flooded his chest. He looked at the ruined landscape. The world was still spinning, but something had changed. The air felt thicker, the sky darker. He wasn't alone. Far in the distance, faint figures appeared, people who had escaped the mind stream's grasp. Survivors, broken, but alive. Vera's voice came from behind him. The syndicate is gone. Karn too. The pods are empty. But this... She pointed to the chip. This is the real war now. Ray clenched his fist. The mind stream isn't dead, it's trapped inside her now by inside Leia. Vera shook her head. More like inside you. Ray blinked, surprised. Me? The chip is linked to your mind, your memories, her memories. It's a connection, a door. You're the gatekeeper now. A heavy silence fell. Ray's thoughts raced back. His nightmares, the visions, the memories that weren't his but felt like his own. Can I shut it down? He asked. No one has ever done it before, Vera said quietly. You might lose yourself. Ray's jaw tightened. He looked down at the chip glowing softly. Then I have to try. Days passed. Ray stayed in a hidden bunker with Vera. Together, they studied the chip, trying to find a way to disconnect the mind stream's influence. Each night the chip whispered to Ray, fragments of memories, cries for help, and chilling warnings. You're not just fighting a virus, the voice said, one night. You're fighting an ancient mind that never dies. Ray gritted his teeth. I'm not afraid. But inside, fear gnawed at him like acid. One evening, Vera found a message hidden deep in the data, an echo from the first memory. It was a warning. The final echo will come. When the gatekeeper fails, the stream will rise. Ray's eyes widened. What does it mean? He asked. Vera's face grew pale. I think it means you. Ray clenched his fists. Then came the night of the final test. Ray laid down, the chip pressed to his temple. The voices swirled around him, whispers, screams, memories clashing. He closed his eyes. Suddenly he was inside the mind stream itself, an endless sea of faces and thoughts, some angry, some scared, some lost, and at the center, a towering shadow, the first memory. It looked like a giant black cloud with glowing eyes. You cannot end me, it boomed. You are my child, my prisoner. Ray shouted back. No, I am my own man, and I will end this. The shadow lunged. Ray's mind burned. He fought with every memory, every hope, every piece of his soul. The battle raged like a storm, blinding and wild. Then, a sudden calm. Ray saw Leah's face inside the chip, smiling softly. "Dad," she whispered, "I am here." Ray reached out. The shadow screamed and began to shrink, folding into a tiny spark. With one last cry, it vanished. Ray opened his eyes. The chip was dark. Silence. He was free, but the world outside had changed. The sky was clearing. The survivors were rebuilding. Vera smiled at him. "You did it." Ray looked at the chip, now empty but warm. "I hope she's finally at peace." He turned toward the horizon. The stars were brighter. A new journey awaited. And though the shadows had passed, Ray knew one truth: memories never die. They only wait for the right moment to echo again.